Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review as well as a demo of the brand new foundation launched recently by Maybelline, which is the SuperStay up to 24 hours hybrid powder foundation. I've got two shades because in the UK the way that Maybelline shows swatches is like the worst I've ever seen in my life. It is so difficult to find a shade that matches you no matter what your skin tone is, because initially I bought the shade 40 because they showed on Superdrug's page a model who had skin tone similar to mine. It's a little bit too pale, so then I went and bought the shade 40A, even though the models that they were showing on Superdrug's website was a black model and then a South Asian model, yet this matches my skin tone just about. Like, it's absolutely terrible. Maybelline is such a massive company, one of the biggest drugstore brands in the entire world, and they can't get their skin tone descriptions correct. They can't even get the name. These don't have any names, 40 and 48. Now in the UK there are 10 shades altogether, and in, I believe, the US there's about 16. So in the UK you are incredibly limited, more so because I think that there are only about 2, maybe 3 shades after mine. I've got light to medium skin tone, or fair to medium skin tone, if that's what you want to call it. So can you imagine there's like 3 shades after me or 2 shades after me? It's terrible. So anyway, this retails at $11.99. I'm just going to quickly show you the packaging. So this is what it looks like, very cheap plastic packaging. So you can see the foundation shade in here. The only reference to the colour is this sticker on the front, which will eventually fall off. Pretty pointless. Open it up, you can see obviously the powder foundation inside, and then you lift it up and then there is a mirror on the inside, as well as a sponge for you to apply. Obviously you can see I've tried it and used it. It's quite compact but very cheap packaging. My only concern is that at some point it will break. And I am going to quickly swatch these both on my face for you guys before I do a full demo of using the one that is the closest match to my skin tone. Let me show you the shade 40 first off. I'm going to do very thick finger swatch, which is obviously very different to using a sponge or using a brush. Don't even know if you can really see it. I'm gonna have to go over it a couple of times. Now I know on my face it may look like, oh, that kind of matches. No, believe me, it's one of those ones which gives me a slight white cast. So if you've got skin tone a little bit lighter than mine, this may work for you. And now the shade 48, which is here next to it. So now you can see both of them side by side. Now the one thing that I do have to say is, obviously these are the only options really for my skin tone. Neither of them have got real kind of golden undertones to them. I would say that maybe the lighter one slightly leans more towards it, but obviously it's still a little bit light for me. And then I believe that the deeper shade has got more kind of olivey undertones to it, even though it isn't the correct kind of range for me, if that makes sense. So you will notice that when I apply it to my face, it looks like it matches, but it doesn't look like it matches. But that's because the undertone isn't right. I think that the range that Maybelline have come out with in the UK is absolutely terrible. There's going to be so many people that just can't use it because there is no shade that matches them correctly, not even the right undertone. Let me just wipe that off very easily because obviously it's like a powder. Now on my face at the moment, I've just got normal skincare and sunscreen, but I did apply it about an hour or 2 ago. So it's settled onto my face quite nicely. Now obviously it is up to you. If you want to use the sponge, by all means use the sponge. I personally don't like to. I find that I can't buff it in properly with the sponge. I think this is great more for touch-ups throughout the day rather than using it to do your entire face. So what I've actually been using is this brush that I've got from NYX. It's a dense stippling brush, and this is number 4. This one picks up the product very nicely and I can easily buff it into my skin, and also it doesn't go overboard, meaning that I can control the amount of pigment and the amount of coverage that I'm getting on my face. Now, one thing you do have to note about this is obviously common sense. It is a powder, which means there is quite a bit of kick up. So bear in mind, if you've got nice clothes on, if you've got white clothes on, anything that there may be any kind of fallout on, you may want to cover yourself and the area that you are applying your makeup in, because it will end up in various places. This is quite a messy product. So here you can see quite a lot of product gets picked up, and I'm not sure how much you can actually see, which is floating all over the product itself. Obviously this side is like normal skin, which is like a satin matte kind of finish. That's what normal skin generally looks like, and I've got normal combination skin. This is a matte powder foundation, so this side is going to look dramatically different to that side. So here you can see this side compared to the other side. This side you can still see the redness in my cheeks because I'm actually quite warm at the moment. The redness has gone down on this side. My skin has been evened out quite a bit, but I'm not sure if you noticed the amount of times I had to go backwards and forwards with the brush, applying more and more and more and more. This applies very, very softly in terms of pigmentation because it is not a liquid, therefore it doesn't have that level of pigment intensity concentrated onto your face at once. Because it is a powder, it dissipates, it blends out, and it shears out as well, so you do need to build it up quite a bit. At the moment, personally, I would say it is at its medium coverage stage, especially considering how much I applied. And if I wanted to apply more, I would have to go in quite a fair few times, and then I feel that my face becomes overly matte. Yes, you can make it overly matte at some point by applying way too much of the product. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just quickly do the rest of my face just so that you can see it all done all together. So that is it with my full face done. I would call this medium coverage purely because if I was to look in the mirror, I can still see some of my marks, my scarring. I can see my beauty spot here as well. That hasn't been covered. That normally happens with full coverage. And I can still see some of my marks and scars underneath. Now, if I was to use the sponge, which they say use for more fuller coverage, let's see how much of a difference that would make. Let's just pat it on. So it does, as you can see, build up the coverage, but ew, I look cakey. Oh, I don't like that. No, let me blend that out a bit. See, that's the problem with applying something which is medium to full, because when you try and build it up, let's do it again over here. Just press it in and then it gives a bit more coverage. But I feel like I'm way too matte. Like even after using a liquid foundation and then you apply a mattifying powder on top, you should still look relatively natural. I feel like I look really fake. And obviously I don't like the colour. What do you guys think? Be honest. Be honest. I didn't create it. I won't get offended. I'm just here to review it for you guys. My skin feels really, really, really soft. And I also don't set this because what is the point? It is supposed to be a powder foundation. Why would you put powder on top of powder? Normally you apply powder on top of liquid foundations to stop it being sticky, to help with the longevity of the liquid powder itself, to make it stick, stay on your face. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to do the rest of my makeup just so that you guys can see what it will look like once it's all complete and finished and settled on my face, and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. The rest of my makeup, as you can see, is all complete. I have not set it with any kind of powder or anything like that. I've just got my normal powder products. On my eyes, I'm wearing Natasha Denona Glam Palette. On my lips, I'm wearing the new Maybelline SuperStay Vinyl Ink in the shade Punchy, for anyone that wants to know. So let's see now what they say in regards to this new hybrid powder foundation, and then I'll let you know what my thoughts are about this. So it says, get your soft matte look with Maybelline New York's SuperStay up to 24-hour hybrid powder foundation. This medium to full coverage superhero hybrid delivers up to 24 hours of super staying power. Fueled by super resistant hybrid technology, its formula unites the best of both worlds, the performance of a liquid with the comfort of a powder. Super lightweight, super comfortable feel, long wear that is sweat resistant, water resistant, and transfer resistant. Resists caking and patchiness. Just swipe it on and you're ready to take on the city. And then they say obviously use a sponge applicator for a more full coverage or a brush for a more natural finish. Right, so in my opinion, based on me using it, wow. Everything that they've said on here is about 50% true. Okay, so it says lightweight, yes. Medium to full coverage powder. Yes, I would say that it is medium to full. Bear in mind, the more you apply, the more cakey you definitely look and the more fake you kind of look. So they say it's sweat resistant, water resistant, and transfer resistant. Hell no. If I go like this, it's on my finger already that quickly. Now, if I had set it with a setting spray, who knows, maybe it would hold up, but the whole purpose of this is that it doesn't need that. It's supposed to stay on your face up to 24 hours. Up to 24 hours. This doesn't even get me through a full working 8-hour day. If anything touches it, it comes off. And it's very obvious because half of my face looks flawless and the other half looks weird is the only way to describe it. It comes off. If any water touches it, I've worn it in the rain, I can see little splotches in areas where it is trying to obviously wear away now that water has touched it. And the same would be for sweat as well. Transfer resistant, this definitely is not. It comes off even faster than a liquid foundation. Now, I'll give you an example. Yesterday evening, I went out to meet my friend. We went for a little walk. It was very, very windy, very cold. I had my jacket on with a hood up to about here. It was zipped up quite high. By the time I got home, this entire area here had gone patchy and blotchy looking, like I had some sort of skin disease where it had rubbed away in places and almost lifted off. This is a terrible, terrible long wearing product, or so-called long wearing. It says that it lasts 24 hours. It don't even last 5 hours, you guys. It starts to come off quite quickly if it's been touched. Now, I'm not going to lie, in areas where nothing had touched it, it looked flawless up until the end of the day. But please tell me how many of you are going to be able to get through an entire day without at some point something touching your face. You hug somebody, your cheek brushes on them a little bit. You sit like that. You had a drink of water. You picked up your phone in particular. At some point, of course, you're going to touch your face. This will not last up to 24 hours on anybody. And I wouldn't even recommend you to even try to. Super lightweight, yeah. Super comfortable feel, yes. But that's about it. Resist caking and patchiness? Well, no. I've disproved that completely. Now, I do have to say that this holds back oils very, very well. When I took this off at the end of the evening, despite the fact that I had patchiness, there was no shininess, no oil had come through. This is very good at controlling oil. So maybe if you wanted to use it as some sort of setting powder on top of your foundation, maybe it might work, or you might just be better off using your normal setting powder and some setting spray, and that'll be absolutely fine. It says it delivers the performance of a liquid with the comfort of a powder. No, my liquid foundation doesn't go patchy and start coming off, so I'm actually quite disappointed with this. Generally, Maybelline SuperStay ranges are actually very, very good, as evidenced by the fact that I'm wearing one of the SuperStay vinyl inks. This will last longer than this. This will last triple the time. Literally up until I go to bed, it will stay on my mouth like this, but this would have removed and come off, gone patchy, worn away, that sort of thing. I do have to say that I've got a little bit of dry skin on the side of my nose. It has clung to it a little bit, but not too much, but that might also be because my face has been nicely moisturized. Overall, I'd probably give this a 5 out of 10. Firstly, the shade range in the UK in particular is absolutely abysmal. In the US, if I was to guess and say, I'm probably the shade 220, as that's what I'm normally the shade in with Maybelline outside of the UK. We do have 220 over here, but it depends on what the range is. Please don't waste your money on something that you think is going to last you throughout a working day, and it doesn't even last you up until lunchtime. It's just not worth the money. 5 out of 10 is the highest I'm willing to go for this. I don't think it's that good. Also, because of the fact that it is a powder and you have to use quite a bit of it, it kicks up quite a lot of dust in terms of powder. You will get through this very, very quickly as well. When it comes to a liquid foundation, you're probably going to use 2-3 blobs maximum. It will last you months. This, if you were to use it every single day, I can guarantee you'll probably get through it in about a month. Not worth the money long term. So that's it for my review of the brand new Maybelline SuperStay up to 24-hour hybrid powder foundation. Surprised I didn't like it? Maybe. I was surprised myself, but at the end of the day, I'm here to give you honest, genuine reviews based on my experiences of using this. I've used this quite a few times. Don't like it, probably will never use it ever again. So that's all I have to say about this product. I hope you guys are wonderful, fabulous and great, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.